Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome, everybody, to another episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. That's me. Hey, how are you? I hope, I'm silly. I hope everybody's doing well. We are very fortunate today because my friend who has been with me for the last couple of years, she worked very hard to put this show together and to bring all the ladies here. And I get to talk to a bunch of beautiful women. So, ha, 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 ha. It's the only time I get to. But in any event, it's Holly Berry. How are you? It's great to have you on the show again.
Thank you for having me back. I'm doing wonderful. And I can't wait to connect with the Passionistas. And I can introduce them now, if you would like, to our wonderful listeners out there.
Well, let's see if I can actually pronounce their name, and then you can introduce them. Holly, why don't you introduce the Passionistas to us?
You did it. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it doesn't, if you've never heard the term Passionista before, it's Passionista, and that's how it became easier for me to say. So if you're listening out there right now and you've never heard the word Passionista before, if you break it down into passion and Ista and then slowly put it together, eventually you'll be able to say it right.
Eventually, maybe.
Yeah.
For me, it's a trick.
But you get kudos every time you do it, so that's kind of fun.
I know it's kind of like a dog getting a dog treat, you know.
Well, Amy and Nancy Harrington are the Passionistas, and they've been on Kevin's show, Positive Talk Radio, over the last 2 years, I think, several times. And they also have their own show, their own platform, recently started up Sisterhood as well. And so having them on, and we do this regularly monthly, the first Monday and the third Monday of the month at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where you can listen to them live. And if you catch us on YouTube, you can post questions and comments as well. And what they do is they bring one of their Power Passionistas, or Passionistas, but several of them have been Power Passionistas lately, to share them with our amazing audience, you listeners out there right now. So without further ado, Amy and Nancy, welcome, and I'll let you introduce our guest for the day.
Hi, how are you? We're so excited to be back. We love this. This is our favorite time of the month when we get to come and talk to Holly and Kevin. So we're so excited to be here. And we brought with us one of our Power Passionistas, Lauren Best, who's a certified hypnotherapist. So we will turn it to Lauren and let her introduce herself and tell everyone a little bit about what she does.
Oh, thank you. This is so fun. My cheeks already hurt, and I've been sitting backstage for just a few minutes. But it's so wonderful to be here with you guys. I'm Lauren Best, and I am, yes, a certified hypnotherapist. I'm also a business and mindset consultant, and I'm also the founder of Possibilities Universe, which is a place for us to play and to explore and try new things without needing to be perfect or with a purpose. And I think a lot of that is possible when we do allow ourselves to find those passions. So being a part of the Passionista Sisterhood has been such a good playground for that as well. And for me to discover that this is, what I want to bring to other people's lives as well. So thank you. I'm excited to see what we'll come up with today and what kind of play we'll get up to.
Super shout out. We got our first comment. Hello, Tamara. So I was just with Tamara over the weekend. We were at the Oregon Trail Rally volunteering for a rally crew that's car racing. And I've been telling her about Amy and Nancy for months now. So welcome, Tamara. Thank you for tuning in live. And we're so happy to have you here.
Hi, Tamara. Thanks for joining us.
And a lady that I've known for over 50 years and haven't seen her in 30. Her name is Judy, and she's also listening. So,
hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
Welcome. I'm so glad to have both of you live.
So-
Indeed. So who wants to go first with a question?
Holly.
I was just gonna say too. Yeah, are you offering Lauren, or are we asking Lauren? Or okay, all right. I'm happy to go first. I was able to go through the bio, and there's so much fun stuff I want to ask about. But one of my favorite things was that you've designed experiences across the globe, listing Canada, the UK, the USA, the Netherlands, Australia, and Singapore. Canada is the extent of my international travels to date. So I would love to hear about all the other places and a little bit about the designed experiences.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's sometimes I forget that I've been able to be a part of, creating transformation or bringing different design projects to life. I'm actually Canadian. So that's kind of, where my love for design and my curiosity around designing an experience kind of started when I went to communication school in Canada. But I just really found like this desire to not only visually create an experience, but within like the energy of people. I think I started to pick up on the power of that. So I actually, before designing experiences, went on to design product and furniture, and I studied that over in the UK. So that's how I kind of jumped over the pond and started to dabble and really expose myself to the design. If anyone has the chance to go to London, just like the installations and the design weeks and the when you walk into some of these like little design shops, or there's pop-ups all over the place, like what experience you get to find yourself in is just, I mean, unlike anything I'd ever experienced in Winnipeg in Canada, where I'm from. So that curiosity started to brew. And also my desire to not design another chair, and put like, there's so many beautiful chairs out in the world. I don't need to design another one. So that, I think, while I was studying, showed me like what my values were, and I think how it is I wanted to show up. What could I bring to the world in a way that would make the world a better place, or at least a happier and more joyful place. So I kind of found myself, yeah, just more excited about experiences. I had the chance to do some work with some local designers in London for Design Week, where we designed different pop-up experiences. One of them was around plastics and education around plastics, and curating what that could be like, or examples of that within our everyday life and kind of the history of it. And then I just kind of pivoted into this world of service design and business design, and what experiences we could create through a service experience, which is kind of like where I started back in Winnipeg, in like the e-commerce world. So yeah, I started working with, I was working for a consultancy over in Singapore. So I jumped the pond again to another part of the world, and was, yeah, working with, different government bodies, different startups, medium to small enterprises, even with like startups. So the projects became very vast and very different. But what I really realized within all of those different projects was this infusion that we get to create of our values and of our, like, the things that matter most to us, and how we can showcase them and create an experience for other people to not only like go through a service experience, or when we interact with a business or any type of service, really any type of touch point that we have, but how we can also like infuse these different values so people can feel a certain way. So that's, what I was doing before the pandemic. And then flip to the pandemic, I end up back in Canada really unexpectedly. And at that point again was like really like gripping my hands around this idea of sustainable design, and started working with a company over in Amsterdam, or based in Amsterdam, that was wanting to bring sustainable experiences within museums, because of the just highly, they're doing a lot of conservation work, yet the impact on the environment is just like, there's so many traditional ways of doing that that weren't considerate of the environment. So I started doing a lot of work with them to really look at the operations of that nonprofit and how we can, again, like create experiences and create different programs as well and resources that could facilitate that education in a way that would be really supportive for the environment, but also like make learning about these things fun. And that was before I started my own business and before I even found hypnosis at all. And it was when I actually tried to start my own business that I, again, was like trying to design my own business experience and really was so stuck like in this loop of not being able to take action in a way that felt good. So that's when I found I was starting to hear people talk about their experience with hypnosis. And so I went to an online summit and I saw this hypnotherapist there, and I knew, like, I didn't know how, but I knew she would help me. And my goodness, that changed my life forever. I never dreamed of becoming a hypnotherapist. So, or even really like how it could be a part of my life in such a way. So I started doing that mindset work, and I realized like there is nothing wrong with me. I just, on that subconscious level, get to rewire my brain to believe in myself again, to really find out what is the experience that I want to create, not the experience that I think I should based on what other people are doing or what I see other people doing. So that unraveling journey was just chaotic, amazing, beautiful, all the things. And then I decided to become certified while I was starting to coach other solopreneurs at the time, and look at what they wanted their business experience on their end to look like before we even think about the external customer or client that we're going to be working with. Like, what would be true to you? So it was like I had to do that work on myself too. So I still do it. It's like that constant reminder and permission slip to really look at, whoever I'm working with, whether it be a large organization, a solopreneur, a nonprofit, like what is this experience that we can show up for ourselves first, that then like has that ripple effect out to the experience that other people get to experience on the other side of it. So it's always a ripple effect. And I didn't really grasp that when I was just trying to like create from a place of let's put a product together or let's design a physical object, and realizing like a lot of the physical objects that we can design now, I design for facilitating like little card decks or like just little tools that we can use to accompany this process of designing experiences. But it gets to be like this universal thing where we get to continuously reinvent and redecide what experience we do want to create for ourselves before other people. Because if we don't believe in what we're doing and how we're showing up and what we're putting out there, there might be someone who, needs or is waiting to work with you or to experience your show or your community or your product or whatever it may be, yet they can feel that energy if like you don't really believe in it. And so the energetic piece of the puzzle is like something that's just really transformed the way I look at things and how I support other people too. And looking at too culturally, having lived in so many places and worked with companies and people from all different backgrounds and different parts of the world, I think informs so much of how we get to design how it is we show up, or the cultural desires or the different intricacies that maybe aren't informed if we just kind of follow the book and follow what we think we should do. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm still figuring it out, but every day gets to be something a little bit different. And I can't wait to just keep collaborating with new people in unexpected ways. And it's been really fun to do that.
Lauren, I have a question for you. I need your advice. My
Yes.
son is in the Air Force. He's in, based just south of London.
Oh,
Did
no
you
way.
know they drive on the wrong side of the road?
And on the wrong side. wrong side of the car too.
I know I would feel so stupid because I'd go to the passenger side thinking that I was going to the driver's side.
Right?
And they also tell me that the roads are very narrow and they drive very fast there.
That is
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. But I feel like in America, coming back to Canada, because I do spend time in America in the winter, coming back to Canada, it's like even more slow-mo, you guys. It's like I feel like I'm just like, I think I got a speeding ticket the first few weeks I got back because I just like wasn't used to it. But everywhere's different, right?
Well, but he wants me to go there, and I ain't going because I don't want to. I'll do something stupid. I just know it.
No, you have to go.
You should go, just don't drive.
And be really careful, because here's the other thing that you don't think about. You think about the driving, but you don't think about the crossing the street.
Oh,
Crossing the street can be really scary because you're expecting the cars to come on the side of the street you're used to them coming on. So when you step off the curb, you're looking, in the
wrong direction.
You're looking in the wrong direction, and it takes a while to get used to it. I found that to be
people jaywalk in London, or are they good about like crossing at corners? And no,
I didn't know. So the very first time I went to London was when I was in communication school. I went for an internship one summer. I just like knew it was a place I wanted to go to, and I didn't know until I moved back, like for another 4 years, that there's the zebra crossings. That if you get to a zebra crossing, the cars have to stop. I had no idea. Like we don't have that at least in Winnipeg. I don't know if they have them in other places in Canada. I don't think so. But I had no idea. So there's all these little things, but nothing else to turn you off from going, Kevin. I feel like it'll be a great experience to go.
You have to go, Kevin. You can't turn that off.
Well, there is a zebra crossing that is famous. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Do you really?
A photo. Yeah, of course.
From
Abbey Road.
Abbey Road.
And that's the Beatles, of course. That's where that's kind of a mecca. If you from here, I gotta go there because that's where everybody goes to see Paul McCartney and stuff. Yes, Amy.
I was gonna say I have gone. I actually got to go in Abbey Road. I got a tour.
Oh,
inside.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And there's a piano that John Lennon played that I got to touch, and it was a very, very
amazing.
For everyone listening that can't see us right now, Kevin is doing the bow down worship motion for Amy.
It's one of those. She actually made it there, drove on the wrong side of the street, and made it to Abbey Road.
I did. Yep. I have driven on the wrong side of the street. I've driven in London, and I didn't ever do it again.
I have not. That's very brave of you.
I actually didn't drive in the city. I drove outside of the city. I may have skimmed my rearview mirror along the side of a truck once, but
oh my gosh,
there was no major damage to the car I had borrowed from somebody else.
So, Lauren, one of the things that I am just fascinated by, and I've had hypnosis sessions and stuff and been around them. It's a wonderful form of it's a wonderful modality. How did you get into it, and how do you apply it to people that are trying to build their businesses and get out of their own way?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad that you've experienced it too, because I always ask people, have you experienced it? And there's a lot of like misconceptions, right? Because of Hollywood, and we have some Hollywood ladies in the room, but it's like because of these movies or plays or commercials, or even I heard a radio commercial the other day that was like partially hypnosis, and I thought, this isn't safe for the road. Like, who approved this, right? There's all these different things that we see in society, but I also had never really experienced it until I started thinking about how I could move my business forward, and totally disregarded any of the personal stuff that I had gone through because of the pandemic and living overseas and being in a toxic workplace. Just thinking, this gets to be like the magic thing that helps me. And although like I could break it down and say, yes, it was so much more than that. And it wasn't only that really made that impact for me. But I found it from different business communities that I was starting to surround myself in, people talking about different, subconscious practices. And I went to an online summit and that my mom shared with me, probably hinting like you need, some support in some other way. And I saw this hypnotherapist, and I began working with her. She specifically supported female coaches, which I was debating whether or not I wanted to go that route at that time. And I started working with her and found just these layers of, beyond my business, beyond the practicalities, beyond the strategies that I thought I could just, tell my brain, I get to take action on this. It was all these limiting beliefs, all of these events and stories based on my past experiences that my brain began to think of, I'm not worthy of having this or experiencing this. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't use my voice. It's actually really unsafe because I'm going to get in trouble. Or, as a kid told by teachers or classmates, like my voice is annoying. And so it became all these bigger things that I didn't really realize were at the root and stem of the way I was showing up, the way I was showing up in my business, the lack of confidence I had, the fear of putting myself out there and really being seen because of these experiences that told me or showed me or my brain perceived as a certain way. So it wasn't even like a one by one journey. It was like all of a sudden I was able to really allow myself the space to have more awareness, based on what was happening in my business or in my personal life. Like all these kind of patterns kind of started coming up for me, because I was becoming more aware and having that desire to really change and really transform, where I was at in my life. So with all these things, I just, the biggest thing I would say, beyond the like specific beliefs that I kind of rewrote in my mind around wanting to do business differently. Like I grew up with parents who are entrepreneurs, surrounded by aunts and uncles who are entrepreneurs who did business in their ways, or maybe what I would perceive at a certain point as a very traditional way or very masculine way, and giving myself that permission to really say, okay, but that's how they would do it, but it's not how I want to do it. It's not how it'll necessarily allow me to show up in the best way where people can experience the superpowers that I have. It worked for them and their superpowers, but I get to do things differently. So that, was tied to a lot of different stories and reprogramming my beliefs on that subconscious level to create new stories and visualize myself in these experiences that were me showing up confidently, that were very different from what I had seen growing up or what I had experienced in different workplaces. And I love that with hypnosis, our subconscious mind really doesn't know whether or not something has happened in real life or not. So we have, anytime we think about something or we talk to ourselves in a certain way saying, I can't do this, or I can't believe in myself, or we imagine the worst possible thing happening, our mind is going to believe that. And every time our neural pathways get stronger and stronger based on that belief. So if we can visualize a different reality and begin to visualize ourselves in a certain, maybe we have a specific goal, or for me lately, over the last like 6 months, I've just been visualizing over and over again, me stepping onto a stage, talking to people and just feeling so confident. And a few weeks ago, I've been doing a lot of stuff online. And so in person, I was asked to present at this conference of over 100 people. And I remember walking up there and feeling like so confident and thinking like, a few years ago, this would have, or even a few months ago, this probably would have scared me a lot more. But because I had rehearsed it in my brain so many times, my brain already knew like it's safe for you to show up in this way. So it can transform like so much for us in terms of just allowing ourselves to not only visualize these scenarios and build this confidence, but also allow ourselves to like let go or rewrite these stories that were keeping us small, so that they don't have to anymore. And it can be very specific to our goals and where we want our business to go, or it can be, for me too, it was very much like trusting in uncertainty is like a big theme for me, and realizing like I don't have to know all the answers. I don't have to have every, for some business people, having a 5-year trajectory or all these targets is going to be really supportive for them. For me, I realized like just trusting in uncertainty and knowing that anything is possible for me, that when I open myself up to experiencing new possibilities, there'll be amazing things that show up for me, which is like kind of crazy because you're like, what? Like, we should plan these things or we should know where we're going. And it can work for some people, but for me, it was just creating a lot of pain in my body, like a lot of sickness, confusion, just like wasn't good for me. And so I think giving ourselves that permission, and with hypnosis being a tool to allow us to do that, it can change everything for us. But really trusting, like, for each of us, it's different, and we get to find those answers within our subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind always knows. They always know, even when you, as like your conscious brain wants to be right about something, they know better every time.
Ladies,
Sorry,
Question?
Kevin.
Yeah.
question, ladies.
You want us to ask a question? Is that what is happening?
Well, I don't want to hog the microphone, so I wanted to share it with you guys. If you had a question,
Well, I want to make a comment, not ask necessarily a question. Maybe it will
you
lead
can
to
do
one.
that too. This is America. You can do anything you
Do
want.
that too. We just want to say, first of all, I want to go back to something Lauren said, which I find fascinating, which is the thought that somebody would make you feel like your voice isn't pleasant. Like, one of my favorite things about even just having a regular conversation with you is I find your voice so soothing. And when we have done the hypnotherapy with you, it's like my favorite thing is just like listening to you talk. It really makes me feel and it really helps me get to a much more relaxed state. So I'm shocked that anybody ever made you feel that way. But the other thing I want to say is we have done this with Lauren a few times, and we've done meditations, and it gets to that place where people are like, you're seeing the swirling light. And I always get panicky because I never see the swirling light. I never see the things I'm supposed to see until Lauren. And finally, the first time we did hypnotherapy with Lauren, I laid down, I closed my eyes, and she got to a point where she's like, and now you see this light swirling by. And I was like, oh my God. And it was amazing. And it was just like, it totally made me believe in something that maybe I was always a little skeptical about before, even just the power of meditation. It really helped me get to a very calm, and it just rejuvenated me after we worked with Lauren. It was absolutely incredible. So I just want to give Lauren credit as someone who's experienced her skills before. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. I feel like it's one of those things, especially with the voice thing that you mentioned, Amy, is like, I feel a lot of the work I do with people and business owners is like reclaiming that confidence around the things that we have been told we should do less of, or that we should hide away from because of the discomfort it created for someone else, right? Anytime, I believe, anytime someone, brings up these things, or I've had people critique the way I write because it's not a traditional marketing message. It's like part of that, whatever I said or however I did it or whatever, made them uncomfortable. It has nothing to do with me. But it's, we as humans, we can project things, and we don't know, how to discern everything, whether or not it's something that, or we don't often give ourselves that permission to discern whether or not it's something that we should internalize or we feel for ourselves, or if it's something that, we should really consider, like, oh, maybe I can look at something differently, and not taking it on in a way that, I see it with so many people hiding these beautiful, magical parts of themselves that for years they've just completely neglected and hid away, and being able to support people to reclaim that. Like, for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get paid to speak to people. And once upon a time, I was told to be quiet or to, not talk so much. And so it's such a powerful thing. And with that experience and with the experience you shared, I think it's a big part of this. And you being able to tap into your subconscious mind in a certain way is that safety that we feel in a certain scenario or with a person, and how as any business person or any person in general, how we can create an experience that creates safety for someone else, whether it be a family member or a potential client or a partner or a friend. And so there's so much when it comes to creating that experience that is safe for people, that allows us to, or for them as well, to be open to new possibilities and experiencing things for themselves in a new way than perhaps ever before. So thank you for sharing that. It really, it's one of those things with hypnosis too, that every experience is so different every time. I actually personally don't see a lot of things, but I feel it. So there is that spectrum as well. I think a lot of people have these expectations, and sometimes I have clients that are like, I saw this and this, and even I'm blown away. I'm like, whoa, because I don't see that kind of stuff, right? And I've been doing this for a long time, but you can develop this ability to tap in or to see or to feel in different ways, and it takes that time to reconnect to ourselves. So it's pretty powerful that you had. I remember when you shared that with me, and how cool of an experience that was. So thanks for sharing it again. It's so good.
Sure.
And by the way, everyone, we're talking with Lauren Best. If you want to go to our website, you can go to lauren-best.com, find out more about her, the work that she does. There's also another website that we should reference. Which is that one?
Oh, that is possibilities-universe.com. And so there's going to be lots of fun stuff to play with over there.
Oh, very good. And this has been brought to you by Amy and Nancy Harrington, the Passionistas Project, and they've also got, and I want to get this out before the end of the show about the sisterhood. But I have a question for Lauren before we go there, because entrepreneurs are a strange animal. Sometimes we think we've got it all whipped, and sometimes we haven't got a clue. But there are some of us that are very organized and are able to do things step by step by step, and they can make rational decisions and they know what they're doing, but they may not have the ability to be empathetic towards other people that are working with them and stuff like that in from a heart-centered place. Can you, through hypnosis or any other means, kind of meld the two so that you can make the superpower entrepreneur?
That's really interesting. I love that question because when I am working with entrepreneurs, I blend very much the strategy piece of things. Like my background is in service design, design thinking, human-centered design, with the subconscious piece. So this idea that, we could design the perfect strategy or this roadmap is great and fine, but if our mindset again doesn't match, and we don't feel, if we feel super attached or really tied to a certain outcome, that's when a lot of that resistance can come up that you spoke of, just not being able to maybe trust the people that we've hired to support us. And that's also weirdly a big part of the work I've done with some entrepreneurs too, is really looking at what is your freedom recipe? What is your recipe that you can kind of bring all the pieces together, whether it be the SOPs, those standard operation procedures, or the pieces of your business that you think you should be doing that maybe you can let go of completely, or you can delegate to someone else so that you can stay in that zone of genius and really be in your superpowers and using them every day. So for some people, I mean, it looks so different for a lot of people, but one of the biggest things I see there is that, and I even worked on myself too, is this need to control, and this need to control the outcome, being super tied to what it should look like. And then also, I mean, creating expectations for these collaborators that you are working with, but also figuring out who is this person that you want to work with, I think is a big thing. I've seen so many people hire a certain type of person because they think they should, yet really maybe their qualifications are great, but maybe when it comes to understanding your business or understanding the way you need someone to show up for you, there's a lot of miscommunication. And that also comes, I think, from the entrepreneur maybe not being clear on exactly who it is or what it is they want this person's support with. So definitely through that mindset work, we can get really clear on, even to start, who it is or what qualities or things you don't want or wouldn't support you, in a way to really get clear on, okay, what would be really supportive in this goal or this vision. Rather, I like to work with people in their vision, and sometimes we bring in specific goals, but what is that vision that you have for your life and your business, and how can we find someone to support that? So I think it's, a little bit more complex than just kind of cookie cutter putting a strategy together, but how those things get to play together and complement that action that you take is really powerful when we're also looking at it on that subconscious level, and figuring out, what is important to you as an individual, and maybe what is time for you to rewrite or let go of, so that you can also feel free in this pursuit of, or this experience that you're creating for yourself and your business.
I'd love to chime in real quick. So I wanted to give Kevin a huge kudos. So earlier last week, he did a session and came out of it with a description of the kind of sponsors that he wants to pair with, and a lot of adjectives. And he was reading me the list. And at first I was like, where's this coming from? And then now talking with you and in this conversation, one of the phrases I absolutely loved, and I think it might have even been one of Kevin's past guests that I had a coaching session with. It might have been Nathalie, Kevin. And she was like, your job, your number one priority as an entrepreneur is to hold the vision and communicate the mission to everyone you have around you, because they're carrying out the mission. You got to hold that vision, because that is only the purest form of it, only comes from you. And that's exactly what you did last week, Kevin. And then he communicated it really well to the team as well. So I just wanted to take a moment to give you a huge kudos on that, Kevin.
I know, it was so unusual, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was like, whoa, what? Where's this coming from? This is, So that was awesome. That's a huge growth area. So awesome job, boss. And then I can go ahead and transition it with the sisterhood if you'd like, unless you wanted to talk about something else, Kevin.
No, that's perfect.
Okay, awesome. So this especially for our live listeners, Tamara, and then Kevin, what's your friend's name? Decades of friendship.
Oh, Judy.
And Judy. Okay, so Judy and Tamara, this is an amazing group, the sisterhood. This is one of the newest things that Amy and Nancy started up, and you can find links to it on their website, thepassionistasproject.com. So I'm there, Lauren's there, and so many amazing women. And you can direct message each other, you can collaborate with each other. It's a wonderful, amazing place. And from there, I'll let Amy and Nancy tell our awesome listeners more about it.
Go for it, Nan.
All right, I'll jump in. Yes, thank you for that lovely introduction. And Holly, you are such a valued member, as is Lauren, of the community. We just love having you there. We started in March. Amy and I have been in business for a long time, and the Passionistas Project has been around for 6 or 7 years now. But we realized last year that we wanted to create a space where all of the women we have met over the years could come together and get to know one another, because they're all such amazing women. And, we do our best to connect people through email, but this just makes it so much easier. And every time someone joins, we sit down and think, okay, who does this person need to know? This person needs to know this one and this one and this one. And we tag them and we get them interested. And we're so excited when we see women that are setting up Zoom calls and coming back to us with, we just talked to each other and we have this idea that we want to run by you for the sisterhood. And it's just so exciting for us to see it having wings and taking off. But basically, we have a place where women can come and be themselves and be authentic and not have to worry about anybody else or anybody taking them down or commenting in a bad way. And you don't have to look at people's food memes and cat memes, and there's no distractions. And on top of all of that, we also have courses and classes and workshops and all sorts of great educational opportunities for women who are solopreneurs or activists, or women who are in a transitional phase of life and not sure what their next step is and looking to find their passion and find their purpose. We have Kylie Stone's course. Kylie was with us on the last episode that we did with Positive Talk Radio, and her course starts this week. And Lauren is going to be doing a course this summer, which we're narrowing down now. We're so excited about, but it's going to be about permission slips and giving yourself permission to go past those things that are blocking you. And it's going to be a beautiful course for the summer because it's going to be an audio course with a lot of guided meditation and self-hypnosis. And so you can just sit by the beach and take this course, or, grab a drink by the pool and listen to the course. So we are so excited about it, and we can't wait for that one to happen, probably in July, I think we're saying. So we'll bring Lauren back when it gets closer to that. We can talk more about specifics.
That would be awesome. And I'm a huge fan. I've transitioned into more audiobooks because I can't get through a full, and I love thick, juicy, like information packed books. I can't get through a book anymore now that I'm out of college. I just fall asleep. So audiobooks. So of course, like that sounds really good for people that also have a challenge. If you're listening right now and you have a long commute to work, a course like this might be something you could tune into during lunch break.
Yep. That'll be perfect.
And I'd like to thank the two of you for putting this together, because it is post-COVID, the social structure has changed, and people are feeling a lot lonelier and don't know how to reach out because everything's different and has changed. For you guys, I was struck by what you said. When somebody joins, we try and figure out who we should match them up with and where they should go and who we should see. That, for those people that are joining, you have no idea how important that is for them, how they feel so loved and taken care of. So congratulations, you two.
Well, thank you, Kevin. We're sisters. Nancy and I are sisters, and we are lucky because not only do we have each other, we have two other sisters and a brother who are our best friends. And I've never felt alone a day in my life. I have always known there's somebody there. And so to be able to give that to other women, because it's a huge issue right now for people. And I think especially women, they feel very alone and isolated. And I think everybody kind of feels like, oh, it's post-COVID and we're out there now meeting each other in person. And it's like, not necessarily. And our people might not live around the corner. Our people may live in Australia like Kylie, or Canada like Lauren, or you guys up in the Pacific Northwest while we're down in LA. And there's just so much connection to be had virtually still that it's healthy. I know there's a lot of unhealthy online connection out there, but in a space like this where it's really focused on just being good to each other and being kind to each other, it's a really beautiful thing. And you'd be amazed the kinds of connections we've been able to make too. It's like a woman who joined recently who is a disabled Black woman who wants to be an author and keeps being told, no, we're not interested in your book because no one wants to hear your story. And she's got this amazing story, but because she's a Black disabled woman, publishers tell her, literally say to her, no one wants to hear your story. And not only did the women in our community want to hear her story, but we reached out to another woman in the community and we were like, we know you know a woman who's a Black woman who owns a bookstore in Baltimore. Do you know anybody? Do you think she could help us figure out which publishers might be interested in stories by Black disabled women? And she was like, I'll hook you up. And while we're talking about it, here are two other people that I can introduce her to who might be able to help. So we want women, especially women from marginalized communities, to feel like there's a place where they can come and be heard and seen and cared for. And and it's happening. We're building it, and people are showing up and having that experience. So it's really, it means everything to us, you know.
I see new people join every single week, because that's one of the notifications I made sure to leave on, was anytime a new person joins, because I want to welcome them every week. Every week there's new people.
Yeah, thank you. It's really, really cool. And what's cool for us is we don't know them. They're new people that are finding us. You know, it's not like in the beginning, it was like, okay, here's our diehard group and they're all coming in. Now it's like, we text each other every time, like, do you know that person? Nope, no idea. So people are finding us, and the word is getting out there, and we just need more. You know, it's like that old hair shampoo commercial, like, tell 2 friends and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on and so on. So we just got to get the word out. So
can we have a themed show on one of these Positive Talk featuring Passionistas? I almost said it wrong that time. Have Antarctica themed show where we have I don't know, wear our big hooded parkas or something when we get someone from Antarctica, and maybe have I don't know, our mugs that look like we're outside, and mittens. That would be so much fun.
Let's do it. Hot cocoa for everybody. Our last continent. We got to conquer it.
Well, that's amazing what you guys are doing, and I as someone on the outside looking in, I really appreciate what you're doing. There needs to be a men's group that does the same thing, but men, we're a whole different animal. We're just not. We're not that. I don't know what we're not, but we're not that. I don't know. So any event, but congratulations. I think you're doing great. And Lauren, how long have you been with the group? How long, and what has been your experience with them?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I met the Passionistas because of Julie DeLuca Collins, and both them and myself and some other amazing women had, I think you still might, I don't anymore, but had a radio segment with Julie. And so we met that way. And so it was like, I remember meeting up with them in Burbank. I think it was February or March or April of 2020. Was it 2023 or 2022?
It might have been 2023, February.
Yeah.
Lauren is one of the Passionistas that we've actually met in person. I would say 5% of the women in our community we've never met, but Lauren, we've actually been able to meet.
Yeah. And it was so cool because I remember you planted the seed and you started talking about, I don't even think it was called the sisterhood yet, but the community that you wanted to bring together, and, planted the seed of, would you like to be involved? And I was like, of course, any way I can. So fast forward to now, and it's like a real thing happening. So yeah, it's been really cool to be on that outside looking in, but also be a part of the experience, being one of the first person or people to post in the community within my little channel that I have, and just see everyone come in as they come. As Holly said, every week there's new women joining and people joining. So it's been amazing to get a glimpse into their world. It's a powerful world, and it's just so inspiring. It makes me emotional. It's just like, it's wild what the two of you have created for all of us to take part in. So thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. That's beautiful. And I feel like, Lauren, you've been one of the connections that we made that I always think of as one of the most powerful connections, is you and Dr. Bird, who's also been on here with us. I feel like we had introduced Lauren. Lauren mentioned something about wanting to get a tarot reading or something. We were like, oh, you need to meet Dr. Bird. And
yes,
I feel like that is a transformative introduction for you.
Oh my gosh, she has become such a amazing spiritual mentor for me that, without you introducing me to her, I just wonder, I would have figured it out on my own eventually, but wow, has she impacted my life. And yeah, I think I was asking for a referral for a human design reading, so not even a tarot reading, and right away you guys said her, and I thought, oh, okay, this isn't what I wanted, but this is what I need. She's who I need again, another woman brought into my life that's like, that's who I need to talk to. So it's amazing how those synchronicities happen. And, when you ask about something, these people are put in our lives through other amazing humans. So yeah, that's life-changing, really life-changing.
Did you find somebody to do your human design?
I have been, I've been learning about it a lot on my own. And then, yeah, there's another community just for, I don't know, for those who are listening, who know about human design, I'm a projector. So that is my human design type. So I've been studying a lot of that and the energetics of how I get to show up. And it's given me a lot of permission to do business in a more feminine way that honors my energy and really disrupts, I think, a lot of the perfectionism that I was so conditioned to seek out. So yeah, it's another ever evolving learning thing and integrating into these like little micro experiments of how we get to do this business and life differently as well.
That's really cool. Let's go through your information again, ladies, so that we can make sure that if people would like to join the group, the sisterhood, they can do that by
go to the passionistasproject.com/positive talk. We have a special page just for all you amazing Positive Talk listeners, and you can get a 20% discount with the coupon code there and join the community. And then you'll be able to interact with Lauren, and you'll be able to take Lauren's course over the summer and Kylie's course that starts this week. And meet Holly and talk to Holly. If you join, she'll be there welcoming you. She's always the first person right there.
Yep.
She's pretty famous these days. I don't know if she's going to have time. I'm just kidding.
I know. We're going to make time for this.
And Lauren, your information, if you don't mind, please, how's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yes, I think the place where I'm actually beginning to hang out a lot more is actually over on Substack. My Substack is called Possibilities in Between, but you can visit my website, lauren-best.com, or my website, Possibilities-Universe, and you'll see a link to my Substack where I post a lot of different things, some writing, some hypnosis audios, and some other fun stuff of what's coming up. And yeah, I think that those are the places I'm hanging out, and of course within the sisterhood. So I'll be over there too.
Now, when I have a technical question, I always ask Holly. Substack, Holly, what the heck does that mean? I don't have no idea.
It is a website. So you know a place. Have you heard of like, I don't know, like Reddit or like Quora?
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, like yeah. One of those. And the only reason is, see, that's why I have to ask Holly, because she has to translate a lot of things for me into old people speak.
I love it though. It makes me feel useful. I enjoy it very much.
She's very talented, and it's great to have you ladies here. Who do we have next time that you're here? Do you know?
We have a surprise guest.
Perfect.
We'll let you know soon. You'll be surprised too. But I can guarantee you this: she will be fascinating, whoever she is.
Oh, everybody's fascinating, and Lauren, it's great to have you here, and I wish you much success up there in the Canada place, if you know what I mean.
Thank you. That was a great Canadian accent. Thank you.
Much better than his Australian accent last time.
Hey! I actually don't have a very good Australian accent.
No one does. No, only the Australians do.
It's the gift that they have. So it's been great fun. So ladies, we're going to run out of time again. So how do you want to do it this time? We've done it by alphabet backwards, alphabet forwards. We've done it by position. What
let's do it from the northernmost person, which it will be Lauren.
What are we doing?
I think you've been set up, young lady. What we're doing is you get a couple of minutes to just tell our audience anything that you would like them to know that can benefit them, the world, humanity. No pressure, by the way.
Yeah, like more like 30 seconds if you're trying to keep it to an hour without cutting out anything, Kevin.
Oh, good point.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. I think the biggest thing is giving yourself that permission to trust yourself. We have these like whispers or these inklings or these thoughts of what would feel good for us, but then we have these like shoulds that are even more loud, and they're often based on what society thinks we should do, or someone in our family thinks we should do, or a past version of ourselves. So just giving yourself that permission to trust the things that maybe are uncomfortable or are different, but really honor your heart is like the best gift that you can give yourself.
Thank you, Holly.
Yes, I do live above you geographically and above Amy and Nancy. I would like to thank Tamara and is it Judy?
Judy.
And Judy so much for tuning in.
And
today.
Jen Galbraith.
And hi, Jen. Thank you so much for tuning in live, and thank you for the live comment, Tamara. And we will be back the first Monday of next month, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I invite you all to come back and listen and comment live and ask questions.
Please.
Amy, is Burbank north of Atwater?
Yes, I think you're north of me.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have to go south on the 5. So.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure. So I would like to just harken back to something we said a little while ago about people feeling lonely. And I'd like to just say, don't feel lonely. Please don't feel lonely. Find people, go out and find people, whether it's your family or friends or coworkers or the sisterhood, anyone. Just don't be alone. Go out there, make some friends, enjoy humanity. And if it is the sisterhood, we will welcome you with open arms.
Yeah, and I will add to that because I'm next southwise. I will add to that we are shy people, Nancy and I. We still are very awkward, and we're only not awkward because we have each other. So we can go to places and we can talk to each other if we don't feel comfortable talking to anybody else. So if you are listening and you're someone who's a little bit hesitant about connecting and making new friends and finding people who understand you, we totally get it. And we want you to know we'll help you feel comfortable and we'll help you feel loved. And we have a very safe and loving space for you.
And ladies, this has been every time you come on, it's a great deal of fun. We learn a lot. And Lauren, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate having you here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun.
Do your cheeks still hurt?
Yes, they're like my eyes are like so tiny. I've noticed because I'm just like smiling.
You've been smiling the whole time, and we really that's really is a lot of fun. Holly, anything before we go, my friend?
No, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today, and we look forward so much to seeing you again soon.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin@kmmedia.pro.